Turkish Airlines, 7 days, Nisine.com, Denizbank, Siesta, Tadim, Lenovo, Burger King, and SEG, official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
The Sinan Erdem Dome in Istanbul, Turkey is the place to be for great basketball tonight. We had a semifinal earlier, but coming up the second one between Fenerbah'ce, Istanbul, and Real Madrid, and the fans are loving it. I'm with Joe Arlauckas, former EuroLeague champion, and Joe, as we see Fenerbah'ce arriving a little earlier, two great teams, two great coaches, and a lot of star players on both of these teams. This is what they play for all season long. What do you think about their possibilities tonight?
I think a great possibilities, Frank, especially the way they finished this league out. They didn't finish the season very well, but the 3 games in a row against Panathinaikos and some big league games, domestic games that they played, and man, they're walking into this gym with a lot of momentum.
There we see a little earlier, all these star players arriving for tonight's semifinal. During the season, Real Madrid was the top team in the EuroLeague with a 26-8 record. Fenerbahce finished at 21-12, but of course, as Joe said, they had an incredible playoff sweep. The first time ever the team has started on the road and swept a series, while Real Madrid lost a game at home and had to win 2 as well on the road to get to this Final Four. Now we're going to get to hear what our coaches had to say to their players, starting with Fenerbahce, Željko Obradović.
Guys, they did their job. Okay, this is without question. You watch how it's full of our people, but depend on us, on our reaction to the court. Okay, on, let's go. Hey!
Vamos, coño.
The Fenerbahce locker room, moments before the game, hearing from the great Željko Obradović. Now we're going to hear what Pablo Lasso had to say to Real Madrid right before this big semifinal.
Dixon, Dogus, mis jugadores de pick and roll. En principio siempre 2 de ellos en el campo. Recordar las situaciones que hemos hablado de ellos. Al final están yendo a casi 30 minutos cada uno por partido. Dixon y Dogus más con el balón, pero no perdáis de vista a Bogdanovic, porque si tuviera incluso problemas de faltas puede quedarse solo en el base, ¿de acuerdo? Segundo grupo, meto a Mamutoglu y a Nunali, ¿de acuerdo? Nunali viene a hacer 40 puntos en el último partido, Mamutoglu es un puro tirador. Respetemos los minutos que nos puedan jugar en el campo, sabiendo que lo que más juegan para ellos es salida de pick and roll, salida bloqueada y poco pick and roll, ¿de acuerdo? Pero tienen peligro en el tiro, algunas situaciones de puerta atrás y situaciones especiales, sobre todo guillotinas, ¿de acuerdo? Siguiente bloque, Datome, Kalinic, Antic, ¿de acuerdo? Bien, normalmente entre el 3 y el 4, muchos minutos. Datome es el mejor tirador de los 3. De hecho, juegan situaciones para Datome que hemos visto, el B1, las guillotinas, menos posteo que otros años.
There are our 2 head coaches, Željko Obradović of Fenerbahce on your left, Pablo Lasso, Real Madrid on your right. And in his Spanish speech to his players was talking point by point, player by player on Fenerbahce and what his team has to do against them. That is more studious than motivational, but I'm sure he had some motivational words as well for the Real Madrid players. Again, the crowd here is overwhelmingly a Fenerbahce crowd at Sinan Erdem Arena in Istanbul, and that is going to be a factor that Real Madrid has to deal with. Joe Arlauckas, as we see Pablo Lasso and his record along the years, 6 seasons with Real Madrid, playoffs, has made it to the Final Four 3 times and won four out of 6 games, becoming champion once, and making it to the final every time. That is experience that counts as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That experience is important today, but Fenerbahce has different thoughts, different reasons here.
And the great one, Željko Obradović, the winningest coach in the history of European basketball, and you see the numbers right there. He has done it 8 times all the way to lifting the trophy over the years, only lost a couple in that run, and only didn't make it to the final a couple times as well. Here's a starting 5 for Real Madrid. Luka Doncic, the 18-year-old wonder kid. Sergio Llull joining him at guard. Anthony Randolph will play one of the forward spots. The other belongs to Jonas Maciulis, and Gustavo Ayón, a do-it-all center, coming out on the floor to start the game for that man, Pablo Lasso, as we get ready for tip-off in the second semifinal. The Fenerbahce starters, Bogdan Bogdanovic, one of the hottest players in the last couple months. Bobby Dixon joining him in the backcourt. Jan Vesely at one forward position. Nikola Kalinic at the other one. And big man Ekpe Udoh at center. With Željko Obradović leading his team into battle with a huge crowd behind him at the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. And Joe, the Twin Towers, Vesely and Udoh, do not always start for Coach Obradović. He doesn't have the same, any player start the entire season, but you know, he wants to establish some dominance in the middle with those 2 guys out there.
Yeah, but Pablo Lasso, we see, came right back at him with Anthony Randolph, who we rarely see start games. He's a guy that usually comes off the bench. Tonight in this fight, in the semifinal game, he'll be starting with Gustavo Ayón in the middle to try to control Vesely and Udoh between the 2 of them.
It's almost tip-off time. Fenerbahce against Real Madrid, and there's been a lot of talk about those big men in the middle for Fenerbahce, Joe, but there's also a ton of matchups on the perimeter as well. It remains to be seen which team pushes which way and which team wins this ball game, so they face Olympiacos for the title and the trophy on Sunday. It is going to be a great semifinal if the first game is any indication, and of course the past of this Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. These 2 teams met in the same game 2 years ago. Madrid won. Now they have the rematch. The jump ball.
That's the first mental mistake right there by Anthony Randolph. You got to know right off the bat that the guy that's jumping the ball cannot grab that ball no matter what. He has to tap that again. Get it to one of his players to retain that first possession.
So essentially a turnover right away for Real Madrid to start the ball game, giving Fenerbahce the first possession, first chance to get on the scoreboard, and first chance to get these fans out of their seats. Dixon to Vesely, hands off to Bogdanovic. He's double teamed out top. A lot of defense from Madrid, but Kalinic comes up with it. Kicks out to Bogdanovic, left open, misses his shot. Udoh in there with a hand on the rebound. The ball goes out on him, and you already see some pushing and shoving on the first rebound.
Oh yeah, and that was the look that Bogdanovic wanted right there. We see right off the bat that Real Madrid is going to jump him on the pick and roll. They're going to try to make him extend the offense and get it out as far as they can out the half court.
Maciulis to Ayón, who can play some good passing game for a big man. Trying to get it to Llull. Ayón keeps the ball.
Look at Bogdanovic's defense too. Not only offense, but he's killing it on defense early.
A lob goes inside of Maciulis against Dixon, trying to take advantage of his size, but no, it's a turnover. Bogdanovic the other way. Drops the first basket of the semifinal.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Big players coming out to play big games, man. That's what Bogdanovic is all about right now.
Llull going around the screen by Ayón. Draws the foul on Bogdanovic.
Yeah, he has to be careful. He doesn't want to get in foul trouble. He's defending Llull really hard, and Llull's a hard, difficult guy to defend like that. He knows how to draw fouls.
Setting the tone, I think, is what it's called, and both of these teams, especially Fenerbahce, wants to set a defensive tone. They had the second best defense in the league this year, but Madrid was the 6th best, while they were the second best scoring team. So sometimes they don't get credit for their defense. We'll see if they try to set the same kind of tone. Ayón, Maciulis, back to Ayón, goes against Vesely, hangs in the air and gets a shot down for Madrid's first basket.
Well, that's a big move right there by Ayón, holding himself in the air, just waiting and waiting and waiting. The Vesely goes down to lay that one in. Here they go again with Bogdanovic, trying to make him go wide.
Guarded by Doncic, goes to Vesely. This hook shot goes up and out. And Llull comes back with the rebound. He's a racer. looking for Doncic cross court. The pass gets blocked, so it's another turnover by Madrid.
Physicality right off the bat.
Physical start to the game, as we see on a couple rebounds so far, a couple steals, a lot of pushing on the screens, and there's another foul called right there.
You know, a couple of years ago in the semifinal game, Bogdanovic had some really difficult times with Nocioni. He was pretty physical with him, so that's what they're going to probably do tonight also, to try to get Bogdanovic out of his game. Be physical with him early on.
Gustavo Ayón called for the fouls. We saw one of our dignitaries, Ekpe Udoh from the president now of the Turkish Basketball Federation, taking in the ball game. Of course, the former star himself. Fenerbah'ce will inbound the ball with a 2-2 lead early in this ball game. Kalinic takes the inbounds pass. He goes inside to Udoh, sleight of hand, and for the dunk is Vesely as the big men connect.
Kalinic is the man right there, reading the switch on Bogdanovic coming out, finding Udoh right in the middle, cutting to the basket, and then Udoh making a great pass to Vesely.
At the other end, the two big men go for it. Ayón misses, but Randolph helps keep the rebound alive. He'll take his first shot and miss from the foul line. Fenerbahce comes the other way. Bobby Dixon working with Udoh, chased by Doncic, goes to Vesely for a baseline jumper that misses.
Yeah, don't let Vesely shoot that shot all day long. If you're going to beat us, let Vesely beat us from outside. Don't let him penetrate and get into the lane.
Doncic will load up a three-pointer. It's off the mark, and the rebound falls to Dixon.
The rebound game's so important for Fenerbahce. Cannot give Madrid extra shots. They're such an offensively potent team.
Mismatch, but Udoh gets it out to Kalinic for three. That gets about 18,000 people in the stands. Of course, Odea Bank is given a donation for every three-pointer in this Final Four, going to a worthy cause of rebuilding basketball courts here in Istanbul.
Look at, they're trying to get in the young guy's head. Kalinic is letting Doncic shoot the ball, not playing that much defense on him. He's missed two already. Let's see how he's going to respond as a young 18-year-old in his Final Four.
Yoy got the rebound and challenged Udoh, getting to the rim, but the foul was called on the floor, so Real Madrid will have to inbound again. No chance to go to the free throw line. They're down 7-2 very early, but with this home crowd behind Fenerbahce, Real Madrid doesn't want to risk getting down much more. Yoy trying to get the ball in. They steal it again. Third steal for Fenerbahce. Kalinic to Vesely for the alley-oop slam.
And let me tell you, some very uncharacteristic of Madrid, turning the ball over very easily. A little lackadaisical on offense. And when you're lackadaisical on offense, it's easier to convert those defensive plays into baskets on the other end.
Doncic on the wing, trying to help Madrid regroup. Yoy out top, guarded by Bogdanovic. He'll stop and pop over Udoh, off the backboard and in. Sergio Yoy, not the kind of shot you expect in that situation, but you never can expect anything but greatness from Sergio Yoy.
When you have to shoot that ball over Udoh, you have to do something different. And that time he threw it off the backboard. Wasn't trying to, believe me.
Dixon, a runner at the top of the lane. Looks like the shot will not count because there was a whistle beforehand. And the foul looks like it was called on Anthony Randolph.
It was called outside as on the pick as Dixon was penetrating to the basket. Good call by the referee right there, not to ward the basket.
So Fenerbahce will try it again with this 9-4 lead. There's Dixon pumping from deep.
Oh, man.
The mark, Bobby Dixon.
Man. And two defenders on him. He pulls up, two bigger defenders. Pulls up right in their face and drops it from deep.
That's about as quick as you can get a shot up, so you know Bobby Dixon's feeling it tonight. Yoy to Ayón. Almost stolen by Bogdanovic, stolen by Dixon. No, Doncic saves it, and Doncic gets fouled by Dixon, so some quick feed on the young man saved what would have been yet another turnover for Real Madrid.
Yeah, but offensively, Madrid just looks out of sorts right now. There's no continuity at all within their offense. We're not seeing any pick and rolls up top. When we do see some picks, they're not very physical offensively. So you have to be physical against this Fenerbahce team or you get nothing.
Udoh will dial from deep, and he'll hit that one.
And Bogdan Bogdanovic is not happy right there because he wanted someone to step out. I think he wanted Udoh to step out a little bit and give him some help on Sergio Llull.
Udoh gets Madrid within 5. Fenerbahce, Dixon stopping and getting it back from Vesely. Vesely flying high and going off the backboard this time to make it 14-7.
What great footwork by the big man to get that ball up quickly. That's all about footwork right there. It has nothing to do with anything else but getting his feet set so you can get to the basket and get that ball up quicker.
Doncic caught dragging his back foot for another turnover for Madrid, number 4 for them.
Right now, they're frustrating the young guy right now. That's what they're doing. They're going after him. A la Real Madrid 2 years ago with Bogdanovic. They're doing the same thing to Doncic.
Let's remind our viewers, this kid, Luka Doncic, only turned 18 during this season, but he stood shoulder to shoulder with not just any EuroLeague players, but the best players in the league, and was the only player in the league to average both 4 rebounds and 4 assists. He had 4 Player of the Round awards, second only to last year's MVP, Nando De Colo. So he may have a little nervous start perhaps in his first Final Four, but you can count on this kid being able to play.
I'm not worried about him, that's for sure. There's no way I'm worried about him in this game. He'll come back, but when you say shoulder to shoulder, I'm ready to say head above shoulders on a bunch of people in this league.
Well, let's remember, Doncic in the playoffs had a tough first couple games in Madrid, including a famous shot where he was basically covering his head and tearing up a little bit out of frustration. He went on the road here to Istanbul against Darüşşafaka, and in the next 2 games, he was the player of the game, sharing 1 award, and the second time player of the round in game 4 of the playoffs, so he knows how to come back, and he probably will very soon in this game.
The kid's amazing. Let me tell you something. I don't care how old you are. You could be 18, you could be 23, you could be 30. Every game is a learning experience, and he's continuing to learn at his young age. We're going to see how he reacts. Looks like he's going the best. He might have been hurt earlier on that fall that he took. Might have hit his elbow on the ground.
Jan Vesely right there, the leading scorer in this ball game with 6 points, including a big alley-oop dunk and a putback off the board that has Fenerbahce leading by 7, 14-7, and Madrid in the position of having to regroup here. They bring in Rudy Fernandez and Jeffrey Taylor to help them do that. Bogdanovic gets the ball out top.
Taylor will be hounding Bogdanovic, there's no doubt about it.
Taylor started most of the season in a big defensive role. The pass inside a little too hard for Ekpe Udoh.
That's what Taylor does defensively. He forces you to make bad passes. Doesn't give you an open look at the basket and force you to make a bad pass.
That's the first turnover for Fenerbahce. Taylor goes to the rim now too, but Udoh, the top shot blocker, takes it out of the air and off the backboard.
And that's what Rudy Fernandez does. Let me tell you right now. He almost got that offensive rebound after the block shot a second ago. And then he makes a great play. He's shutting off the sideline. So Bobby Dixon had to try to go around. And we see right there where he almost got the rebound as he skies up over the rim. But that makes a great defensive play to shut off the sideline.
Very subtle defensive play as well. With all his experience, Rudy Fernandez, he and Jeffrey Taylor come in and force the first 2 turnovers from Fenerbahce. Fernandez in the corner to Randolph, in and out. Ball misses, rebound still loose. Bogdanovic comes across half court with it.
That was a shot Randolph loves, sitting in the corner with his feet set.
Bogdanovic to Udoh. Goes around Ion, but there's Rudy for the steal.
That's what you put Rudy Fernandez in the game for right now. You put him in there defensively as the team was struggling a little bit on offense.
Another block by Udoh as Ion gets stopped at the rim. 2 in a row for Ekpe Udoh, gets him to his average. Here's Bobby Dixon from the corner. Nothing but net for Bobby Dixon. Give him 2 3-pointers and give Fenerbahce a 10-point lead.
You have to be careful in transition defense. Madrid has to pick up players. They have 4 guys on one side of the floor and another guy trailing behind, left Bobby Dixon wide open. Dixon's going to make that 8 out of 10 times.
Udoh gets the shot up and gets fouled on the way to the basket by Vesely. And it will indeed be 2 free throws for Sergio Yui.
They got a team right now, one of the highest scoring teams in the league, held to 7 points in the first 7 minutes of this first quarter. That's 1 point a minute, Frank. Not looking good offensively for Real Madrid. We know they'll be back. There's no doubt about it. They'll find their rhythm. But right now, Fenerbahce is doing a great job of taking them out of their game.
First substitution of the game for Fenerbahce will be James Nunnally coming in to replace Bogdanovic. And he's hit some big shots during his rookie season in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. And in some key moments in a couple of those games. Because remember, Fenerbahce they always had a playoff spot pretty much tied up, but they didn't always hold themselves in the top 4.
They struggled.
But they are certainly here now because they knew when to peak, which was in the playoffs. Vesely to Udoh. They bring it all the way out to Bobby Dixon.
Oh, what
inside, Udoh wide open, reverse jam.
Oh, what a win. Dixon finds the seam and makes a beautiful bounce pass right into the cutting Udoh's hands.
The great up fake, as they call it, by Dixon separated the defenders, and it ended up being an uncontested reverse dunk for Udoh. The miss there by Gustavo Ayón, but the foul and the rebound by Nunnally.
But let me tell you something. Gustavo Ayón is going to the bench right now, but he has to work for every point that he gets because Udoh is so tough defensively. Did you see the defense he laid on? The ball rolled off the rim. It's a good move by Ayón, but he has to work, and that's what you do defensively against great offensive players. Make them work hard every time to make a shot.
Yui open for 3. That one goes out. Rebound long. Rudy Fernandez chases it down.
That's 3 possessions that Rudy Fernandez has gathered for his team. We always talk about 50-50 balls.
He takes a 3-pointer that misses. Hand on the ball by Othello Hunter, who just came in the ball game for Real Madrid, trying for a second offensive rebound in that possession. Here's Udoh block, and the intimidation, as you mentioned, of Ayón, because those blocks reverberate.
Exactly.
Those players remember them, and not just for a couple minutes, for the rest of the ball game. Here's Nunnally to Vesely, put the ball on the floor. Running jump hook by him misses, and Othello Hunter pulls down the rebound.
But I love his intensity offensively, Vesely. He might not make those shots, but I love the way he's going to the basket, looking for it every time he gets it, trying to be a leader out there.
Yuri gets double teamed.
Look at Udoh, even outside the 3-point line, he's defending. Look at him.
Yuri goes after Udoh, very brave.
Look at him, look at Udoh.
Forces the turnover.
Mr. Defense. Oh, man.
And now, Željko Obradović calls back Bogdanović to the floor to replace Kalinic. And also brings in Kostas Sloukas for the first time. Remember, he's a 2-time champion, as he did it with Olympiacos in 2012 and 13, and always been a clutch player. So they might not be as deep as Real Madrid, but they got a lot of pedigree on that Fenerbahce roster.
I mean, I love the quality minutes that Kalinic puts in when he's on the floor. He's so intense.
Bogdanović double teamed. His pass gets tipped by Taylor, who picks up the steal. He's doing his job defensively so far. A minute left in the first quarter. This is the second semifinal of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. Earlier, Olympiacos won. Sergio Yui, stop and pop at the top of the lane.
That's so smart by Sergio. You don't have to be quick in this game sometimes. You just have to be a couple steps ahead of the defensive player. That's exactly what Serge was right there.
Madrid gets the lead down to 8. There is Sloukas going up against Rudy Fernandez to make that layup.
Right off the bench, just coming in and attacking the basket. I love that. You don't want to settle for a jump shot when you come off the bench. You go to the basket.
Yui over Udoh. Others may be intimidated, but not Sergio Yui. He hit his 3-pointer over him as well.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to stay away from those long arms.
Bogdanović shadowed by Taylor. Foul is called on Taylor.
That's a smart foul, though, by Taylor right there. With the time on the clock, only 8 seconds left. They only have 2 team fouls. That's a 13th foul. Look for them to foul one more time before they give up an easy shot. They'd rather make Fenerbahce have about less than 3 or 4 seconds left in that clock to get a more difficult shot on end this first quarter.
He was looking to foul. Didn't get a call. Went back and got it.
Yeah.
Hey, give me that foul. It's usually the offensive players asking for that. Nunnally to Bogdanovic, to Dixon for three. Off the mark, Udoh's there. Rebound comes out with 1.5 seconds left, but that is how the first quarter will end, with Fenerbahce establishing early control, Madrid reorganizing itself in a 21-13 score at their 10 minutes. And in the first quarter, it was a quick start by Fenerbahce Istanbul as they jumped out to a 7-2 lead to get it started and kept going from there. As first Bobby Dixon started to get hot from downtown, and before that it was Jan Vesely making some serious damage around the basket. That is really the basis of this 21-13 lead, as Madrid had to come in and concentrate on defense for a little while, because Fenerbahce's defense is well established.
Yeah, we talk about depth on both teams, Frank. And right now it's Fenerbahce that had 6 players score so far in this first quarter. That's a pretty impressive statistic right there. And they're doing a great job of working together. And Sergio Llull's keeping them in the game.
Conversely, Sergio Llull, as you said, Joe, 11 points for Real Madrid, and only one of his teammates has scored besides him, and that is Gustavo Ayón, who's had a tough time scoring, 1 for 4 inside, because Ekpe Udoh has been the anchor on that defense for Fenerbahce, with a couple big blocks so far in this ball game.
You don't hold Madrid very often at 13 points in 10 minutes, I can tell you that right now. But when you got guys like Udoh in the middle, look at him, just dominate inside. You know what we should call him? Don't bring it in here, is what I'm saying.
He does it on the offensive end as well with a reverse dunk. He also is a showman on the offensive end of the floor. He knew there was nobody around him, and he was going to put that in as a reverse. He knows this, if he gets these fans involved too, that makes it harder on Madrid.
Well, you know, don't forget about the unselfish play also, Frank, earlier with the pass that he made. He had an open layup, but I think it was Ayón or Anthony Randolph stepped over to help and made a beautiful bounce pass to Vesely for the dunk. That's just unselfishness right there. And it makes you a better player, because you know what? Once you pass that ball a couple times, the next time you get it, the defense is ready for a pass. They don't know where you're going. You're going to the basket, you can make a pass. 3
assists in this ball game so far for Ekpe Udoh. As we see Dante Draper in the ball game for Real Madrid. Gets it to Rudy Fernandez, and a Kalinic there to make another steal for Fenerbahce, making number 4.
These are quality minutes, Kalinic. Every time he's on the court, man, look for him to do things. He just causes havoc.
Lucas drives in but pulls it out again, working with Udoh, chased by Fernandez. Cross court to Kalinic. He can hit that shot off the front of the rim, and Othello Hunter picks it up.
Kind of forced to shoot that shot, get it off quickly, but look at the defense he's trying to play on Randolph. Look at him, look at it. I'm telling you, Frank, his intensity causes people to do things that they would not normally do. Randolph got that ball, passed it to nobody.
Luigi Datome also in the ball game for Fenerbahce, but the rash of turnovers put it up to 7 for Real Madrid. That's very uncharacteristic of them. They only had 12 per game during the season. Datome gets a shot off and is fouled from the side by Rudy Fernandez. A little bit of a height advantage for Datome there.
Yeah, but that's a smart play, because he gets in front of Rudy Fernandez. He knows what Rudy Fernandez's tendency is to go after those balls. He almost jumps backwards. When you jump backwards like that, you're going to create contact. Got the shot off also. Rudy's great at coming from behind and blocking shots. We've seen him do it a million times. But you know what? Mr. Datome's also seen him do it. He knew what to do. He knew how to get away from that. And a 96% free throw shooter.
Datome indeed hits his first free throw to get on the scoreboard himself, making him the 7th scorer. I'm sorry, now the 8th scorer for 7th still for Fenerbahce. And as we said, only 2 people have scored for Real Madrid till this point in the second quarter. And a 10-point lead once again for this quote-unquote home team. They don't play in this arena all season long, but they're from Istanbul, and the crowd is with them. Draper lobs into Trey Tompkins, who's just come in the game for Real Madrid.
Look at Collins. Just being physical with him. You love the way this kid plays defense. He gets everybody else going. It becomes contagious. His intensity and his defensive prowess becomes contagious. Everybody else joins in when he's playing that way.
He loves to do the dirty work with Kalinic. That time he got called for a foul, so Madrid will try it again. Trey Tompkins going the pass to Draper, and Sluka's there knocking the ball out of bounds.
Well, you see this team, even the fans appreciate the effort. They're trying to get in every passing lane they can get into. Slukas right there. He might have over-exaggerated that jump on the scorer's table, but you know, he got the fans in there, and that's all that matters.
Draper stops and pops from the three-point arc and misses, but look at Udoh taking that long rebound over Othello Hunter.
And again, if you're Fenerbahce, that's the shot you want to give up. Dante Draper trying to hit a three off the dribble with the defender in his face.
Bogdanovic shadowed by Taylor. Looks inside for Udoh, decides on Kalinic. He'll get it to Udoh. Hunter right behind him, tries poking the ball away, but gets called for the foul.
Bogdanovic right there, the veteran move. Turned one over earlier in the game. This time he fakes the pass to the cutting Udoh and draws the defender in so they can get the pass across the court to Kalinic.
Slukas will inbound for Fenerbahce as they take another try on this possession. Tome to Bogdanovic, finds some space, goes outside to Kalinic, another three-point try for him, in and out, rebound loose. Look who's got his hands all over it. Udoh slaps it out to Bogdanovic.
Right now, if I had to describe this game for Fenerbahce in one word, it'd be unselfish, because they are playing unselfish basketball.
Kalinic goes between his legs, tries to go out to Bogdanovic. He really, when he got inside there, had nobody to pass to. He had time, but nobody was open.
And that's what you teach players from day one. Don't get off your feet. Don't get up in the air and try to make a pass. Try to come down on those 2 feet so that at least you can control the ball. Don't want to make that kind of turnover.
Madrid has to be looking for just a couple possessions in a row, whether it's free throws or baskets, to kind of get some rhythm on offense. They haven't had any yet.
It's been another 2 minutes here to start the second quarter with no score. Not even looks at the basket. That's the worst part.
Othello Hunter backing down on Datome, has to go back out to Fernandez, and he gets called for shuffling his feet and make it the 8th turnover in this ball game by Real Madrid. That's not just nervousness. That is great defense by Fenerbahce.
Exactly, Frank. Well said. That is great defense. They're in every passing lane, and they're not letting anybody breathe with the ball. The only thing that I saw earlier was Sergio Jul get that easy three-pointer off, and Bogdanovic got mad at Udoh for that. How can you get mad at Udoh for not playing defense?
Udoh has the ball on the offensive end now, putting it on the floor, getting it to Slukas. Dancing through the defense, still gets the pass to Datome. Slukas gets it back, has to take the shot with the clock running down. The ball slapped out of bounds on the side.
Boy, Udoh fights for everything, man. He goes after every ball. He has to be totally out of position for him not to get at least a hand on the ball.
If he's near it, not only is he have the effort for rebounds, which he led the EuroLeague in this year as well, not just block shots, but he gets off his feet so fast. It seems like some guys, you know, who are normally good rebounders are just a split second behind them.
And right now we see Pablo Lasso desperate for some offense, bringing in J.C. Carroll.
Draper passes to nobody cutting, wondering where his receiver was, but another turnover, making number 9. This time, the turnover is committed by Bogdanovic, and J.C. Carroll, just on the floor for Real Madrid, picks it up.
I'll tell you, that was great transition defense by Real Madrid. Draper makes a devastating turnover down there because it looked like he had a wide open layup to the basket, tries to pass it off, and makes a turnover. But Madrid does a great job of retrieving in defense and getting that steal off of Bogdanovic.
Yui comes back into the ball game and continues to be the leading scorer, and only have 11 of Madrid's 13 points. They did not score while he was out of the ball game, Joe. And if you have to bring one guy in to put the ball in the basket, you're in a little bit of trouble. But of course, it's only middle of the second quarter and a lot of time left. Carroll.
Madrid just looks out of sorts offensively. It's all one-on-one stuff right now.
Yui all the way to the basket, gets the hard roll, and that shot misses.
But you have to be a little bit happy with that shot. It's a good shot by Jul. It just didn't go in.
The mismatch is Datome on J.C. Carroll, who commits the foul.
They're going to have to go at J.C. Carroll every time down the floor if he's on Datome. You have to make a score defend on the other end of the floor. JC doesn't like to defend that well. He will, he's intense, but when he has such a mismatch down low, he's not going to be able to handle Luigi Datome. Right now, he's going to switch off and go to Slukas.
Third team foul in this quarter for Real Madrid as Bogdanovic inbounds to Slukas. Finds Kalinic wide open for three. He won't miss him 3 times in a row. Nikola Kalinic makes a second of 4 for him. And the biggest lead of this ball game so far, 26-13 for Fenerbahce. Draws a timeout from Real Madrid as they have to quickly discuss something. They don't have to turn it around in a few minutes, as every coach always says, you got to do it a possession at a time, but they do have to show something more, especially from their offense in this last 6 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem of a 13-point deficit. I think it's more the problem, like we said earlier, the lack of continuity offensively. They're not getting anything. Give a lot of credit to Fenerbahce's defense. Their game plan up until now has been executed perfectly, Frank, and that's exactly what Željko's known to do. He knows how to make changes during games, but he's going to let his game plan go to work early, and if it continues to work, he'll stick with it until he sees the need to make a change. Right now, it's Real Madrid who needs to look to make some changes.
Another factor here, assists. Just 1 assist in this ball game for Real Madrid, which is indicative of the 13 points, but they led the EuroLeague in assists this season with 20 per game. Check out the stay in the game. Kids entertaining the crowd in the timeout here. Part of many of the festivities on court and off court around the city of Istanbul this weekend, as the Final Four is really a 4-day basketball party. Some of it right here in the timeouts and halftime.
It's hard. You were talking about assist earlier, Frank. It's hard to drop assist when you have 9 turnovers as a team. That's something they have to do. They have to take care of the ball.
Sergio Yui will try to lead Madrid back. There's a foul off the ball very quickly after that timeout by Luigi Datome, as Rudy Fernandez was trying to get some movement going. But that's part of good defense, you know. You stop guys from cutting, you get in the passing lanes, you put pressure on the ball.
Physicality is something that teams like Chesca, as we saw earlier, in Real Madrid do not like. They're more of a finesse team. When you become physical with them, you can take them out of their game. And that's what Fenerbahce is trying to do right now. Here we're going to see the play right here as they come on. That's nothing. That's basketball. That's semifinal basketball in EuroLeague. There's no doubt about it. They told me they didn't like something that Rudy did. You got to know about it.
And the referees, of course, are looking and talking to each other to try to get control of the situation, and they've called.
He did something before that block. I didn't get a chance to
see. Dueling on sportsmanlike fouls on both players, just to try to nip any.
All right, this is where Real Madrid has to maintain their composure no matter what. You're down 13 points. You're not playing well. You've turned the ball over 9 times. The last thing you need to be doing is having everybody on the bench and all your players yelling at the referee. You need to be under control at this stage of the game, especially with 6 minutes left in this half.
The result of the offsetting unsportsmanlike fouls on Datome and Rudy Fernandez is Madrid keeps the ball. And on the next foul, either of these teams commit, the other team will take free throws in this quarter. Yui going out to Fernandez. Drop back jumper by him, misses.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rudy got away with an offensive foul right now. I was surprised that they're not watching him after that unsportsmanlike just 10 seconds earlier. He pushed off a lot with that left hand going to the basket. You get 2 free throws here from Randolph, though.
Instead, it was a push-off on the rebound by Jan Vesely that was called, and that will put Trey Tompkins.
That should be 2 free throws. According to our scoreboard here, that's 5 team fouls. It should be 2 free throws for Randolph.
And that is indeed what the referee is indicating.
Tell me your teammate's not on top of things, Frank.
Trey Tompkins will be shooting the free throws.
I was looking for some love right there.
You got it.
Come on.
2 free throws for sure. We'll see the official review by the chief of referees to make sure who the shooter is. It was a miss by Rudy Fernandez on one side of the basket and a scuffle before the rebound while the ball was in the air on the other side of the basket. Trey Tompkins, of course, standing on the free throw line because he is quite a good shooter at 80% on free throws. And if the rest don't have it clear who's going to shoot the free throws, he'll be happy to step up and take them himself, right?
No doubt about it. There's no. Hey, listen, he's been sitting there since the referee blew the whistle. So even if they don't want to give it to me, he's like, I'm here, I'm taking them.
It will be Trey Tompkins, and he will make the first one. And hard enough as it is to believe, Joe Arlaucas, that is just the 3rd player on Real Madrid to score in what is now 14 minutes of this ball game.
It's amazing. It's an amazing stat because this is a team. Everybody gets involved. Everybody scores. Again, it's going to the lack of continuity offensively. They're playing a lot of individual basketball, and they're turning the ball over.
Lucas gets it across half court. Madrid within 11.
Here's a little change. This little typical 3-2 matchup zone that they like to play over half court.
Kalinic has to pull it out and give it to Slukas. He gets to the basket, but can't get the pass.
Really took Fenerbah'ce out of their offensive set right there.
Doncic back and forth, came up with it, and Randolph nailed it from the wing for a 3-pointer. As the lead goes back to single digits, 26-18, and Fenerbahce calls a quick timeout.
Yeah, that's a great timeout by Fenerbahce. And right now, Madrid's probably going to come out and not play that 3-2 zone again, but Željko Obradović wants his team to be prepared for that matchup zone that they play. They've done it for years. It was one of the key things that they did 2 years ago in Madrid to win the title. And that was when they had Marcus Slaughter playing at the point of that 3-2, which caused a lot of defensive havoc on offensive players. Couldn't get to the basket on the bigger defender.
One of the key things Madrid has to do with what was a double-digit lead is now down to 8. Is get more people involved, and whether it's a pass by Doncic as well as the 3-pointer by Randolph, that all of a sudden, or the free throws by Trey Tompkins for that matter, all of a sudden gets guys feeling like they're really doing something in the game, and that just builds confidence. Of course, with the big crowd here in Istanbul for Fenerbahce, you can imagine some unsettling on the part of Real Madrid, but they're experienced and they're trying to pull this back. They have plenty of time.
The great thing about that last possession for Madrid was came off a defensive effort. They got the steal on one side of the floor, and they ran the ball. They ran the ball down the floor, they found an open man, and they got the shot. That's the way Madrid likes to play. They're not as good in a half-court set. They're still good, but they're much better in a full-court, open court transition.
Now, let's not forget that in the first semifinal tonight, Olympiacos was down by 13 in the second quarter, but they came back and defeated CSKA Moscow.
Don't make me start singing memories.
So there's
no one wants to hear me sing around here.
No, there's no counting out a Final Four team at any point in the ball game, really. Bobby Dixon comes back on the floor for Fener.
Great minutes also by Slukas.
Udoh back in right away as well. He'll take a jumper that he usually hits from there, but not that time. And there's Doncic with the rebound. He knows the players on the floor. He's looking for Yui. He's got him on the wing, and he's got a 3-pointer, 2 in a row, making a 5-point ball game all of a sudden.
And that's basketball IQ and court awareness by such a young kid at 18 years old. Hesitated, held up a little bit, and waited for Sergio to get in the spot to shoot that 3.
A 0-8 run and going for Real Madrid as J.C. Carroll almost blocks and steals the ball from Dixon.
Yeah, there's a shot clock problem. They changed the shot clock. There was no possession by Madrid, so the shot clock should not have reset there at 24.
The ball was loose on a deflection and went back into Dixon's hands, but if the defending team doesn't actually control the ball, the shot clock should not change, and it did. I was actually glancing at it to see how much time Fenerbahce had left, because I thought Dixon was thinking that way as well when he passed it back out. Let's get a quick shot. The time is down.
And you know, you can't blame the people at the table, I'll tell you that, because it looked like Madrid was starting their fast break on that. They didn't have possession yet, so it's very easy to hit that button and click that new 24-second clock when you see the other team breaking for a fast break. But they're going to have to take a look at that and see. And as we saw earlier in the locker room, we saw relaxed Željko Obradović. we're not going to see much of that during these 40 minutes.
I don't think you'll see it from any Final Four coach this weekend. Although Giannis Spadopoulos is quite calm on the sideline, and he will be in the final on Sunday, the head coach of Olympiacos.
It's like 7 seconds. 6 or 7. I couldn't see the hand. 6 seconds.
6 seconds it will be for Fenerbahce. The original possession had gone down to that number before Bobby Dixon got the ball back. Let's see what Fenerbahce does. A lob inside the Vesely, but not around the rim. He goes to Bogdanovic for 3, misses. Ball is loose. Last one to touch it was Kalinic. The ball will belong to Real Madrid, working on an 8-0 run. But you're right, it was a beautiful play.
That was one of the best out-of-bounds plays I've seen. It was an off direction back screen for Vesely, going the totally opposite way, and then a screen for Bogdanovic to get the open 3.
Yui, shadowed by Bogdanovic, keeps the dribble, working with Randolph. Goes in the corner. Tompkins, that's his shot. He makes it. 3 3-pointers in a row have Real Madrid within 2. We said there's plenty of time to come back, but I think Real Madrid decided let's just do it right away.
I mean, this is Real Madrid at its best right now. They're playing better, and they hit 3 threes in a row. That's how they get into games, and that's how they put people out of games.
Dixon trying to answer, in and out for him. Udoh with the offensive rebound as bodies hit the floor. Bogdanovic will try from deep, off the front of the rim. Another offensive rebound. Kalinic to Vesely, misses the close one, but tips his own rebound in.
Real Madrid
down his team.
has to control the defensive rebound. There's no doubt about it. It's the thing that's hurting them the most right now. They have to get those defensive rebounds. They've given up too many second opportunities. A team that they're not in rhythm right now. Fenerbahce is out of rhythm, and you cannot continue to give them those second shots.
Yui goes right the other way and attacks the rim and gets another foul called on Nikola Kalinic, which will be his second. Could be worth something later.
You know, in the first game, we saw Olympiacos fighting from behind the whole game, fighting. Now you see a team like Madrid coming from behind. It's like boom, 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 3 threes in a row, and you're right back in the game. It's a difference between an offensively finesse team and more of a defensive-minded team.
Yui makes 1 or 2 free throws, but he's got 15 points, way above any other scorer on the floor. Bogdanovic will dial from deep and knock it down. This time he tried it a last trip down the floor, but he was not going to wait to find his shot again.
And look at him shaking his head going, I knew it. I knew that one was going in the minute I released it.
First 3-pointer in 4 tries for Bogdanovic. He's going against Yui. Yui gets around him all the way to the rim. Nice job by Yui to recognize the opening.
You know, Bogdanovic is doing a great job right there playing defense on Jewel. But you cannot be that close to him and get to the basket without somebody helping. Vesely had to come over there, at least put a hand up on Sergio.
17 points already by Yui. Dixon defended by J.C. Carroll, but a little too hard on the part of Carroll as he gets called for his second foul. Mind you, J.C. Carroll hasn't got a shot up in almost 5 minutes on the floor, which is also a testament to the Fenerbahce defense.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, the boom, boom, boom effect. He can knock down 3 in about 45 seconds. We've seen him do it so many times before. But
the fact that these shots were 3-pointers could help Madrid even more because it's going to stretch the defense eventually at Fenerbahce. Whereas Madrid, that's not their calling card. They were the top team on 2-pointers, both percentage-wise and number-wise in the EuroLeague this season. So when the defense opens up, they could take advantage inside perhaps. But we'll see how that develops as we have 2:43 to play in the first half. And Dixon stretching the Fenerbahce lead back to 6.
Sometimes it's not fair when you play against a team like Real Madrid because you play your best game sometimes defensively and you take a lead and you do everything that you're supposed to do. Then all of a sudden their offense just clicks and they're able to go on an 18-0 run before you know it and change the whole complexity of the game.
Dixon takes a seat and James Nunnally is in to replace him. Luka Doncic looking for Trey Tompkins. Going against Udoh. Finally takes the dribble, spins around him, misses. The rebound goes long. Anthony Randolph is down on the floor, looking injured as Vesely passes at the other end to Nunnally and gets it back for a dunk. And bad luck at the other end of the floor as James Randolph was trying to tip the ball in. He is visible visibly in pain.
Yeah, he's down hard right there. And I'll tell you what, Madrid makes a mistake right there because what they have to do probably is foul Vesely before he even gets that ball. Try to stop the clock, stop the play, foul Vesely, make him go to the line. We know he's not a great foul shooter, so right now we're more worried about Anthony Randolph. He looked like he might have taken a shot to the ribs off of this rebound, coming down. I didn't see it.
Perhaps an inadvertent elbow from Vesely once he seemed to come down normally. It was when he hit the floor. And here at the other end, you saw the result of it with no extra defender there for Real Madrid. Vesely finally gets the ball wide open and slams it again. He's got like 2 dunks already.
You see Jewel coming in from behind. Jewel just needed to attack him and make sure that he doesn't get those 2 points. You know you're down a man. One of your players is down on the other side of the floor. You have to try to foul before they get off the shot. Boy, he doesn't look good right now. It looks like he's really hurting.
He was clutching his side. You wonder if somehow you got a rib injury or something, because that could be sudden.
Or maybe a pulled muscle somewhere in your abdomen region. Boy, but he looks like he is hurt.
He is creeping off the floor, Anthony Randolph, and you can't say how much that is going to hurt Real Madrid, because he has definitely been one of the driving forces of this team's success this season. It's his first season with Real Madrid, but remember, he took another team to the Final Four last year with some spectacular performances and was an all EuroLeague player. This year, 10.5 points per game, was second only to Yui, and 5.3 rebounds, was the best on Real Madrid. That is a tough player to lose, even for a few minutes. We hope that he will be able to come back in the ball game, at least in the second half. In for him now is Gustavo Ayón. Doncic on the switch, guarded by Vesely. J.C. Carroll gets it back to Doncic. He'll stop and pop a 3-pointer off the mark.
Tough to get that shot over the long arms of Vesely for Doncic. Doncic is a big boy. Tough to get the shot. He's looking at his hands right now. You can't figure out why he's missing these shots, but he hasn't really taken a good shot. His shot selection has not been well. He took the first one was a decent shot, but since then he's taken a couple forced ones. Got to get his head back in the game a little bit. Made a great play earlier on the fast break to find Sergio Jewell and Randolph for the threes, but offensively, he's not getting his shots off.
Foul in transition committed by Sergio Yui puts Kalinic back on the free throw line.
1:48 left in his half, Frank. We always talk about, I love to talk about the last 2 minutes of each quarter. It's so important to go into the locker room right now with some rhythm. Try to get a little bit more of a lead if you're Fenerbahce, or if you're Real Madrid, try to cut into it. But gather rhythm and go to the locker room with some momentum.
Kalinic gets the lead back up to 10. And remember, it was just 2 points a few minutes ago, 26-24. Run-in one-hander by Carroll as he is fouled. And we'll go to the free throw line.
When he receives that ball so close to the 3-point line, you have to run out at him. And now JC's getting a lot smarter these days of getting himself to the basket. He's worked a lot on his footwork to try to get himself to the basket a little bit quicker, to free himself later for the threes, because everybody knows that he wants to shoot a 3. But if he can get to the basket a couple of times first, maybe even drop a couple of assists, he becomes a more effective offensive player.
Remember the last time we saw J.C. Carroll in the Final Four, he hit about 3 three-pointers in 2 minutes of the second half in 2015. And that's what really pushed Real Madrid ahead to the title 2 years ago.
Yeah, they changed that game. Madrid was starting to blow that game in Madrid, and he just came in and jacked up 9 points in a row and took over.
Timeout on the floor after Carroll's free throws make it 37 Fenerbahce Istanbul and 29 for Real Madrid with 1:35 to play in the first half of this, the second semifinal in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. And this man right here, Jan Vesely, came to play. He was going strong early with a big alley-oop dunk and some finesse shots like that one off the backboard. You usually see him fly all the way in there and use all his length to slam it, but he used his finesse there. Here's the one that Kalinic tossed him for an alley-oop, which is what we're used to seeing from Jan Vesely.
You have to be physical with him defensively. You have to have a body on him all the time because he's so big and so long, and he has the jumping ability and great timing more than anything. When you combine length, jumping ability, and timing, you got a guy that's going to put it down every time. If you don't have a body on him, he's going to get to the basket.
And speaking of dunkers, Ekpe Udoh doing it the reverse way right there. A little bit of style for the home fans here in Istanbul. Their team's ahead 37-29 as we come back for the last minute and a half of the second quarter. But Vesely shot 9 times already in this ball game. 10 points, made 5 of 9.
And no free throws.
And no free throws, which is significant because you thought Madrid would put him on the free throw line where he went 1 for 14 last year at the Final Four. Pass inside from Bogdanovic to Datome. It's kicked out.
Bogdanovic got lucky right there. Sergio Llull got his foot on it. Because if not, Datome was cutting up. Yeah,
as you see there, injured Anthony Randolph putting some ice on his ribs. Looks indeed like it's a rib injury. And we hope it's not serious.
If he's putting ice on it, it's because he took a shot, an elbow or something like that. That's what it has to be. Otherwise, I don't know why you'd be putting ice on other than just to numb up. We're hoping it's not anything serious with the ribs.
Fenerbahce inbound, then gets it to Bogdanovic, who gets loose right under the basket. That's a mistake by Real Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid tends to make those mistakes, and Fenerbahce takes advantage of it. They have some great out-of-bounds plays set up. Zelko's a master of that. Madrid has to be aware and contain the middle.
Here's Carroll with his first shot, and it goes down for J.C. Carroll.
If you're Zelko, you're so upset right now because you worked all week on jumping out on that. You cannot let J.C. Carroll not see a half a second of the basket.
I don't know if anybody's got a quicker trigger and more accuracy at the same time than J.C. Carroll. Bogdanovic kicks out. Carroll gets it back, and he answers from deep.
He throws it up, and he walks back and looking at the crowd saying yes. He knew it was in when he released it.
Udoh driving strong at the other end with a quick attack. Datome lands on the floor and gets called for the foul, which will put Sergio Udoh on the free throw line. Just a little bit of leaning on the part of Datome.
Look at Bogdanovic right there. Look at the rotation on that ball. Look at the arc. It's so beautiful. He's walking back, shaking his head already. He turned his back on that, a la Steph Curry. But then he didn't see Sergio Llull running the ball down his throat on the other side where you have to come back to defend. I'm sure that's something that Zelko will be telling him at halftime.
He was still describing the head shaking by Bogdanovic when Udoh was at the baskets crashing into bodies.
That's how fast that kid is. I'm telling you, man. He gets down the floor quicker than I can say things.
Udoh keeps it going. He's up to, let's say, 18 points. Let's see if they give him the free throw to give Ayon the tap in. It'll be the free throw for Udoh. 19 points, gets the lead. The difference down to 8 for his team. Kalinic inside over Doncic with a quick hook. Recognizing the double team and making it work quickly.
Udoh almost makes a mistake there to try to reverse and go up faking. He had Doncic on him. He just had to go straight up over the top of the young man.
15 seconds left in the second quarter. Udoh out top.
We know what's going to happen here.
He tends to take him from far and make him from far in these situations. He tries to go to Jeffrey Taylor as the ball is tipped out of bounds by Dixon. Good heads-up play by him. Leaves only 1.2 on the clock for the first half.
And it's not over yet for Sergio. Let me tell you, he's still got 1.2 seconds to get this three-point up. And here comes J.C. Carroll, another guy that can get him up quick. Although J.C.'s going to be taking the ball out of bounds.
Oh, Udoh's got 19 points already. And you might figure he'd go over 20. He's used to doing this end of the half. Incredible shots. He's got it. There it goes. Just misses off the back of the rim. Not this time for Sergio Udoh. He did what he could for his team in that first half. An incredible 19-point performance. But they've been chasing Fenerbahce Istanbul the whole way, and Fenerbahce still gets the locker room with a 44-34 halftime lead in the second semifinal of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four.
Turkish Airlines, 7 days, Nisine.com, Denizbank, Siesta, Tadim, Lenovo, Burger King, and SEG, official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. 44-34
at halftime, Joe Arlaucus, and it's a 10-point difference, but we saw Madrid make up all those 10 points and get within 2. We take a look at some of our protagonists from that first half, and Jan Vesely was flying high and slamming shots for Fenerbah'ce early, came back and did a couple late, ends up as the co-top scorer after one half with 10 points, along with Bogdan Bogdanovic for his team. Can't say enough about how tough he is to stop when he's moving around the basket.
Yeah, he's been so intense around the basket. Every time he gets the ball, before he even receives the ball, he's making his move to get to the basket. The only thing I think he did wrong in that whole first half is probably take that outside shot from the opposite corner, which is really not his shot. But you know, when you're playing that hard, you give a guy a shot like that every now and then.
And here you see a little bit of why Fenerbahce's ahead, and Jan Vesely's a big part of it. 10 points in 15 minutes on the floor, 0 turnovers, and getting a rebound, getting a steal, but also he was moving the ball well when he wasn't putting the ball through the basket. And he has 10 points along with Bogdan Bogdanovic for Fenerbahce. For Madrid, it's been one player and one player dominantly as far as scoring is concerned in this ball game, and that is none other than Sergio Llull. 19 points in this first half. He started with a little drop shot for the first points for his team, but he's got going soon, even from the three-point line, and started challenging the shot blockers at the basket as well. Hit 4 three-pointers in that first half. Got to the free throw line to hit 5 of 6. And got that breakaway layup as well for Sergio Llull. I tell you, 19 points in the first half is an incredible performance, especially when you consider how great the defense of Fenerbahce has played all along this season, and certainly in this first half, holding the rest of the Real Madrid team to just 15 points. I don't think that was Jelko Obradovic's game plan to let only Sergio Llull score.
No. You want to make it difficult on Sergio Llull, but also you can say, you know what? If Sergio's going to do his thing, let's let him do his thing, and we need to stop everybody else. Madrid has had 6 guys play in this game so far that have not scored, and that's something that they usually don't see. 6 guys on the floor that have played considerable minutes that have not scored. So, and that's different for Fenerbahce, who's had 8 guys on the floor, and 7 of those have been able to score. None of these, the only person so far that hasn't gotten on the board for Fenerbahce.
The players back on the floor getting ready for the second half, and we look forward to hearing from our head coaches shortly on their take of what they have to do in the case of Fenerbahce to maintain their momentum in this ball game. In the case of Real Madrid, to come back from 10 points down. But of course, we saw something very similar in the first game, and there's nothing that is a given in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four history, right up to an hour ago when the first game finished.
And all season, and all 30 games during the season. But let's look statistically here. 12 assists for Fenerbahce. We talked about how they were playing very unselfish basketball. One uncharacteristic thing from Madrid, 9 turnovers and only 4 assists. That's something you don't see very often in this team. They're a team that likes to take care of the ball, and only 4 assists is not what they're all about. 6 for 6 from the free throw line for Fenerbahce. And here we go with Željko Obradović right now. Take it down here.
Coach, with the exception of Sergio Llull, who scored 19 points, you have to be pretty happy about your defensive effort, right?
Exactly like that. We play good, but Sergio plays excellent game offensively. We must change some things how we guard him. This is obvious.
Is that going to be the focus of your defense in the second half?
Yes, but we must understand that Real Madrid is not only this player. Happened that this first half he scored 19, but they have a lot of quality.
Thank you. Good luck.
There we heard from the great Željko Obradović saying his team is going to try to figure out something for Sergio Llull, but they're not going to let anybody else on Madrid get hot either, because it's worked. And it's hard to believe that Sergio Llull could have 19 points and Real Madrid be down by 10, but that's because there's been more contributors both on offense and defense for Fenerbahce. Now we're going to hear what the head coach of Real Madrid, Pablo Lasso, has to say about what happened in the first half.
Shooting 59% from the 2, some high percentage shots. They got 12 assists. They penetrating your defense pretty easier. what do you think you need to change for the second half?
Well, if you all you said, plus 9 turnovers for us. So losing by 10 right now, it's good.
How do you involve your front line? Your big guys has now been a factor in the game so far.
Yeah, we need to get someone else involved. They're, very focused on our inside. Sergi's penetrating well. Luka got to create a little bit more. We got to create a little bit from outside so they can finish closer to the basket.
Thank you. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
And there we heard from Pablo Lasso and his remedies for his team in the second half. Create for his big man closer to the basket. But he mentioned the 9 turnovers, Joe, and I remember we were counting 9 early in the second quarter. They did pretty well after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the giant screen you will see some images. Turkish Airlines, 7 days, Dogus Group, Adidas, Turkey Home, and Spalding. Official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
And it runs all season long, and it's running at the fan zone.
Hey,
this
Frank,
weekend.
I was there. I was killing those kids today, man. I scored big points. We won.
We're also, right before the second half starts, Mirsad Turchin from Turkey is being presented as a EuroLeague basketball legend by Jordi Bertomeu, the president and CEO of EuroLeague Basketball, joining a roster of the great players in the game who are being honored along the years by the EuroLeague. And of course,
that guy's a legend just because of the place he took me to eat last night in Istanbul, and he paid for it. So he's a legend in my mind too.
Mirsad Turchin, the new EuroLeague basketball legend. Right before the start of the second half action, Fenerbah'ce gets the ball back with a 10-point lead. Dixon turned in the corner, pulls it out, 8 on the shot clock. And there's Anthony Randolph back in the ball game, Joe. Because of the trophy presentation, we didn't get a chance to see who exactly was coming on the floor, but that is good news for Real Madrid. Anthony Randolph looked like he could barely walk about 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
Still looks like he's walking a little bit gingerly out there, and now he's going to give it a shot, see what he can do. I like the defensive attention that first possession by Real Madrid, though.
Ewing, the Dante Draper is making a start in the second half. Ione with a hook shot, bothered by Udoh again. Tough shot for anybody to make.
He just makes it so difficult. You saw what Coach Lasso said at halftime. They wanted to get their guys some easier shots. That probably wasn't the shot he was looking for, but at least they're going in. They have to go after Udoh, make him play some more defense, get him some foul trouble.
Dixon gets the ball back, goes to Vesely. He gets it stolen by Gustavo Ione. Yui on the run will challenge Dixon. And let's see, it'll be 2 shots as Yui was raising to shoot, and Bobby Dixon met him with some physical contact, wanted to commit the foul. Didn't want to commit it before Yui got in the act. Wanted to commit it before Yui got in the act of shooting. Didn't do so. So back to the foul line, trying to get over 20 points already. So
Lucas is coming in for Dixon. That was his 3rd foul right there. Zelko's having a little talk to him over on the bench. Probably telling him not the smartest foul right there, because he let him get into the free throw line and shoot 2 free throws. So Bobby Dixon's gonna have to take a little bit of rest and think about the next time he's going to get back in this game with those 3 fouls.
Bobby Dixon and Luigi Datome with 3 fouls for Fenerbahce. No Real Madrid player has more than 2.
Good fight by Owen right there, going for the rebound. Udoh couldn't get his footwork down, fighting for that ball, and just let it go out on his hands.
Ione wins one from Ekpe Udoh after 1 of 2 free throws made by Yui, getting him to 20 points, and gives Madrid a possession. Randolph steps up and hits a jumper. He looked pretty good right there. He didn't look like the guy who was crawling around the floor about 20 minutes ago.
Forget what I said about him walking gingerly. He looks just fine after that, coming off of that pick right there. using everything in his body, making the turn, getting his feet set, and really pulling up for that jump shot. He looks good. He's back. We're not worried about him anymore.
That's great to see, because you have the fear that he might have been injured. These two guys have been shoving here and again the entire game. The foul this time will be called on Ayon.
Here come the Fenerbah'ce fan. I was thinking it kind of, maybe some were in the VIP lounge for too long, but they've been a little bit quiet here in the last couple minutes.
Kalinic on the wing, gets it to Bogdanovic, quickly double team. Draper in there to play some D. Go back to Kalinic off the front of the rim. Udoh, who else, comes up with a rebound, helped by Vesely. Still got it. He's going to take his hook shot and put it down. Does Ekpe Udoh. Give him 6 points in the ball game.
He's jacked too. He's pumped up. Look at him. He's going to make some contact here with Ayon. He went right after him right there. It was a great play by Vesely to get his hand on that ball to tip it over to Udoh, though. Oh, what a defensive play by Collins. That's what he does so well.
And ahead to Vesely, back to Slukas. Kalinic diving to get the steal and then flying out of bounds to save it. Bogdanovic with a mismatch on Draper.
I love the play here by Bogdanovic. Reading the arms, knowing that Draper loves to play with his hands. The minute he reaches his hands and you see Bogdanovic swipe, look at it, he got a little mark on his arm there. You're going to see, look at the play defensively. What a great heads-up play.
Talk about being in the passing lane. That's owning it and owning the save over the sidelines.
Making the save, exactly, Frank.
Bogdanovic takes the inbound pass, chased by Draper. He gets double teamed. Udoh fakes the pass and goes up, misses that one.
Wow, what a play by Udoh, though. You don't mind your guy missing that shot.
9-point difference. Yuri looking for some help. Randolph's made a shot in this half. And another miscue and another turnover. And who else is there with Nikola Kalinic again? And it's the illustration. If you watch him, you know why this Fenerbahce defense is feared. Because it's not on the ball. It's everywhere else as well.
He just made 2 huge plays, Frank, that don't show up in the stats. And that's the difference of a team play. Oh, great play by Ayon to wipe that off the rim.
But Slukas comes up with the offensive rebound. Fenerbahce with another chance to put this back up to double digits. Vesely receives the pass and gets fouled by Rudy Fernandez.
And that's not a bad play. Plus, they're going to take that out of bounds. That's a no-risk foul right there, because even if he's going up for the shot, you have Vesely going to the line, which is not going to hurt you that badly. He's been a little bit better this year. We're harping on what he did last year, but it is important to bring up here throughout this Final Four.
He did shoot about 50% this year, which of course is better than his 1 for 14 at last year's Final Four. But what I noticed was his form was so good. Here's Kalinic off the inbound, reversing it. Great move by Nikola Kalinic, doing it at both ends of the floor.
Body control, incredible body control. But again, another 2 points right out of the out-of-bounds play. Madrid has to do something to defend that, even though that was a tough shot.
Yuri out top, the lead up to 11. Rudy for 3, off the rim. Slukas falls out of bounds with the rebound, so the ball will go back to Real Madrid. And a fortunate call that was for them, because they need the ball back.
Yeah, it was fortunate for Madrid. Unfortunate for Fenerbahce, though, because it seemed as though Udoh was the one that pushed Slukas out of bounds, even though the fans didn't see that. But it was Udoh that gave him a little bit of push. And Slukas made a smart play, actually, because he couldn't find anybody to pass the ball to. And instead of passing the ball underneath his own basket, he decided to eat it.
Luka Doncic in the ball game for Fernandez. Yui gets it to Ayon.
That's a travel right there. But look at it's swarming defense. Look at Vesely getting the fans jacked up. Him and Udoh come over on the switch and make Ayon put the ball down, and couldn't get his footwork down. So he traveled with the ball. It's just, the defense is amazing by Fenerbahce. Offensively, though, they have to try to open up a lead here. It's looking a little bit too much like the first game.
It's an 11-point lead now. If they hit anything but 1 free throw, they'll have their highest lead of the ball game, or tie their highest lead of the ball game. Slukas is looking for that stop and pop jumper. He does indeed make it 50-37. So 13-point lead matches the best. And that is one difference between this ball game and the previous semifinal, is that when Olympiacos inched back and eventually won, in this case, Fenerbahce has reacted, and Real Madrid is now down by the same they were at the worst moment of the first half. Still plenty of time. 6 minutes left as Bogdanovic commits a foul.
Choosing his fouls wisely also. Only his second foul. Remember, he had the first foul of the game early on Sergio Jules, so only having a second foul right there is important for his team.
Ball inbounded to Yui. Dribbling out top against Udoh, goes over him, misses. And that was a tough shot to make for Sergio Yui. You got to think Pablo Lasso is going to want a little better options on his offense.
Well, we're seeing J.C. Carroll come off the bench, getting ready to get into the game. So he's looking for someone to explode and get himself back into the game.
Udoh fakes and goes and gets run into by Anthony Randolph, drawing the foul. Doing a little bit of everything is Ekpe Udoh. You really can't fixate on his numbers, especially not on the scoring side. He's only taken 6 shots. He has made half of them for 6 points. Hasn't gotten to the free throw line, but already 4 assists. Draws his first foul there.
Right now, Frank, the antennas have to be up on Fenerbahce's defense. Seeing J.C. Carroll come into this game, you have to know what your assignments are and how to get him from shooting 3-pointers.
Udoh again, this time loses the hand on Doncic, comes up with it. He's on the run, trying to go to J.C. Carroll, but just didn't see where Carroll was going to be. So another second turnover on Doncic, 13th on Real Madrid. They did that very early in the first half, had piled up 9 with about 12 minutes into the game. Didn't have any more as they came back, but now they've got another 4 to start the second half.
Credit Fenerbahce's defense. Even though on that play it wasn't much to do with Fenerbahce's defense, but it has been usually their defense.
Lucas open on the baseline, knocks it down. Biggest lead of the ball game, 15 points.
The smooth lefty, man, just coming off, getting both feet set, dropping it from the short corner.
Yui out top looking for Carroll, gets him. Quick shot by J.C. Carroll, hits nothing but net.
Udoh's got to step out there. Right there, you're better off at this point in the game, giving up maybe a 2, looking for some help on Ione cutting to the basket, then letting J.C. see the basket coming off of that pick.
Kalinic goes inside to Bogdanovic, going against Carroll. Gets it back. Jumper by him, misses into the hands of Luka Doncic, and he's in transition. With a lot of defenders around him, finds Carroll, another 3, another 3 goes down. J.C. Carroll 3 for 3 from deep, and that puts fear in the hearts of these Fener fans. They're as quiet right now as they've been in the ball game.
I'm telling you,
even with
man,
their team ahead by 9.
I told you they had to have their antennas up when J.C. Carroll steps into the game. He's only coming into the game.
That's the challenge at the rim by Randolph. He'll have to go to the free throw line. He's for the first time in a ball game.
Carroll's only coming into the game to do exactly what he just did. You have to be aware of that. It's the minute he steps on the floor, you have to know what he's going to do. If you don't, he's going to burn you. He just turned a 6-0 lead, a 6-0 run into a new ball game.
Timeout on the floor with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It's Fenerbahce Istanbul 52, Real Madrid 43. In the second semifinal of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. The winner of this ball game will move ahead to Sunday to face the first semifinal winner, Olympiacos Piraeus, coming from behind to defeat CSKA Moscow and advance again to the final. They won the EuroLeague trophy in 2012 and 2013, and they were also in the final but lost to Madrid in 2015. So after missing the playoffs last season, a big return for Olympiacos to Sunday's final against one of these 2 teams that we're watching here in the second semifinal. Joe, you have to think Željko Obradović called a timeout to deal primarily with what is really just the second hot scorer on Madrid in this game, J.C. Carroll.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say enough about J.C. This is what he's out there for. This is what they use him for. He does other things also, but his main goal is when Pablo Lasso puts him on the floor, especially when they're down, is to get his team into the game. And that's exactly what he's done. This little 6-0 run with those 2 3-pointers in a row are so important because the rest of the team gets excited when they see that. Now other people are going to become a little bit more confident. We've seen Real Madrid offensively become hesitant. Now they're going to become more confident because they got their guy on the floor and he's hitting threes and he's getting them back in the game.
Jan Vesely goes to the free throw line for the first time in this ball game where he's been doing really well, but it's worth noting that last year in the Final Four, he was 1 for 14 from the free throw line, and
that one looked good. That one looked good. He threw that up with confidence.
What I was saying earlier is we saw him with very good form at the free throw line this season, and there he knocks down 2 of 2, so I guess that history is behind them for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment it is, but it makes the other team think about making that foul now because he can't drill those shots. He looked confident right there in those two.
Doncic, the 18-year-old Rising Star Trophy winner, out top. Good challenge, Udoh, go right around him into the basket. Blocked by Kalinic coming from behind.
This kid does everything, man. I'm telling you, Frank, he does everything. He's everywhere offensively, defensively. I love him. I love him. He's just one of those players that is undervalued but is able to do whatever you ask him to do. Zelko, I know, loves guys like that.
The dirty work guys, him and Udoh are much in the same category, and on the inbounds after the block, Real Madrid loses the ball. Make it turnover number 14 for Real Madrid, which is way over their season average of just 12 already with 13 and a half minutes left in this ball game.
Rebounding and turnovers are so important in basketball games.
Kalinic gets it back to Udoh, who puts it in. Good recognition between them. Just very, very smart basketball being played by Fenerbahce, but in particular by Kalinic and Udoh. Carroll a little too deep, steps closer, makes his fourth three-pointer without a miss.
That's what you call a timeout, where Zelko's going crazy on his sideline. He's like, that's what I call timeout for, guys. Someone has to step out. We do not let him shoot. Make him pass the ball. JC's not a great passer.
James Nunnally on the floor is trying to answer for Fenerbahce, misses.
Watch Carroll in the fast break again.
But if it was easy to stop him, Joe, he wouldn't be J.C. Carroll.
No, of course not. But I mean, look at it. You're looking at Zelko right now, getting all over Nunnally. Nunnally's telling Zelko, where was my help? I'm not getting any help. Zelko doesn't want any of that. Zelko's on first man-to-man defense. Then he'll yell at the guy that's supposed to help. But someone needs to stop the J.C. train right now.
Real Madrid brings in a couple big men, the substitution, Trey Tompkins and Othello Hunter, who takes the inbound pass. Yuli out top, goes right past Udoh, challenges him and gets the reverse, using the rim to protect him from Udoh.
Man, that's smart basketball by Surrey.
Cutting the difference to 8 points, which is as close as it's been for a while for Real Madrid. Vesely going to Kalinic as they did on the last possession against Doncic. This time the pass swings all the way to Udoh for foul line jumper that he knocks down, makes it a 10-point difference again.
He loves that shot right now. 10-point difference, Frank. 2 minutes. Last 2 minutes of the quarter are so important.
Kalinic almost takes it away from Othello Hunter before Doncic picks it up. 10 on the shot clock. Look
at this.
Udoh with the steal, the long arms. Gets it ahead to Nunnally for the reverse. 12-point lead again for Fenerbahce.
What it does to your team when you have a big man that can make that switch on a guard and defend him so, not only defend him well and stay in front of him, but steal the ball also and then lead the fast break. That's huge for a defense.
Carroll, Nunnally's out there to stop him. Carroll stops and pops off the front of the rim. Wasn't deep enough for JC to hit it.
Zelko wants to push it. Zelko wants to push it. They feel the rhythm right now. A minute 15 left, and they're up 12. They want to build this lead as much as they can before they start this fourth quarter.
The ball is in Nunnally's hands going against Carroll. And Udoh gets the same shot from the free throw line, knocks it down again, making a 14-point lead for Fenerbahce against Real Madrid, 62-48. And a timeout on the floor at Sinan Erdem Arena in Istanbul, Turkey, with a big majority of the fans here dressed in yellow and feeling that their team is going to get back to the final where they were last year.
Give me a minute and a half of this game right now. Udoh makes a huge defensive play, steals the ball, runs the fast break, sticks the jump shot, sticks another jump shot. Let me tell you, this Adamanga guy must have been playing some really good defense this year to take that award from Mr. Udoh.
Here we see the guy who fired it up. And every chance he got, which weren't too many, but 4 for 4 for 14 points is the only reason that Madrid is this close, 62-48, a 14-point difference. But let me ask you this, Joe, as we see Carroll's numbers with 14 and a steal to his name so far. Let me ask you this. If somebody told you at this point in this ball game, UE was going to have 22 points and J.C. Carroll was going to be perfect from downtown for 14 points, you would have thought Madrid would be a lot closer than they are.
Yeah, and you would have thought they would have a lot more than 48 points also. Let me tell you, it's just the two players are carrying them right now, but one has carried them in the first half and one in the second half. Look at this.
7 assists for Ekpe Udoh. It's certainly a career high for him, but also it's something you just don't see out of a center who's also the shot blocking leader of the league and the rebounding leader.
But then
of the
you see the reason why he's making those 2 easy shots at the foul line for him, because of those assists. He keeps the defense on their heels.
Jeffrey Taylor in the game with the ball for Madrid.
Look at Nunnally's not going to get yelled at. He's face guarding Carroll. He don't want to get yelled at again.
Yui challenging. Ball rolls off the rim and into the hands of who else? Ekpe Udoh.
You might want to get. They're going to let the clock run down a little bit. I'm thinking if you're Fenerbah'ce, you might have wanted a 2 for 1 right there.
In any case, there's 30 seconds left. Slukas out top.
Oh, look at him. Look at the speed.
Makes the quick. Takes one way, goes the other, and gets Yui lured into his second foul. And that will put Kostas Slukas on the free throw line.
He's an 88% free throw shooter, Frank, so he loves to go to the line. He likes that right now with 24.5 seconds left. He could put his team up by 14. Then what they want to do is they want to get a stop. They have a foul to give in these last 24 seconds, so they might let the clock run down below 10 seconds and maybe take that foul, depending on who the defender is at the time.
15-point lead right now would match the biggest until this point. And with the miss, it will still match the biggest. Real Madrid came back from 12 down to within 2. But that first free throw miss of the game for Fenerbah'ce makes them 9 out of 10. And Madrid's going to need to do a lot as Yui at the top tries to go by Vesely to finish the third quarter.
And that's not good basketball right there, Frank, because they had a foul to give. You have to be aware of that. You have 3 team fouls. You cannot foul Sergio Jul go into the basket, getting ready to shoot. You had to foul him a little bit more outside of the 3-point line when he was making that penetration. That's a shame, because with 4 seconds left, Madrid should be taking the ball out of bounds instead of scoring 2 points here from the foul line.
And it's Vesely's third foul as well. He, Dixon, and Datome all with 3 fouls. And Anthony Randolph would be the only Real Madrid player with 3 fouls. And with 3.4 seconds left, we see Bogdanovic and Dixon come back in for Fenerbahce to see what they can make out of this little bit of time. Slukas races across half court, all the way in close, gets a shot off, but it doesn't go down. So despite that effort by Slukas and the free throw by Yui at the other end, Fenerbahce is sitting pretty at the end of 3 quarters with a 63-50 lead over Real Madrid in the semifinal, second semifinal of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. And Joe Arlaucas, as we watch some of these third quarter highlights, you have to give it to Fenerbahce. They've got hit by 2 of the best players, 2 of the big scorers on Real Madrid, but they've held everybody else in check. They really have not shown any shakiness at all since it's practically this entire game.
Well, they have to be very aware of not giving up any more easy baskets or consecutive baskets to guys like J.C. Carroll and Sergio Jul here. especially in the beginning of the fourth quarter. They pretty much controlled this game throughout, except for a couple spurts by Real Madrid. Now's the time that they have to try to take over. Now's the time when they need a defense. They can't get tired now. There's only 10 minutes left in this game for them to be playing in a championship game on Sunday evening.
And on Madrid's side, they got what they wanted out of their two big scorers, or two of their big scorers. What else do they have to do to make up what is now a 13-point lead with 10 minutes left?
Other people have to get involved here. Luka Doncic, if he's going to be on the floor, has to get involved, has to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. I see Trey Tompkins coming into the game right now. He's a guy that could hurt you from three-point land. We saw him do it against the Lithuanians in Zalgiris. He had 3 or 4 in the fourth quarter to take that game. J.C. Carroll's in. Right now, they're going with a shorter lineup, a little bit more offensive, although they do have Taylor in there on the defensive side.
What's really hurt Madrid, however, is 7 for 20 on 2-pointers. And that has to do with a man named Ekpe Udoh.
That's the Udoh effect right there, man. Who don't want to bring that ball in there, Frank? I'm telling you. That guy's amazing.
Remember, Madrid was the best two-point shooting team, both in the number of two-pointers and percentage this season. Gustavo Ayón shot over 70% of his two-pointers in during the year to lead the league. He's 1 for 5 in there right now.
And I hate to tell people this, but 13 points in 10 minutes is nothing for a team like Real Madrid to make up. 13 points, they can make up in 2 or 3 minutes, so they have to be careful.
Yui on top, goes back to Tompkins. He'll stop and pop a three-pointer, in and out, rebound. Goes to Udoh, give him 7 rebounds and 7 assists, 12 points for Ekpe Udoh.
If you're Real Madrid, you don't want to go too quickly. That was probably a little too quick of a shot for Trey Tompkins. Get a better shot than that. Let the offense run itself and find your openings.
Lucas stops and pops right on the spot. 2-pointer, with his foot on the line. 15-point lead. Othello Hunter on the reverse.
Woo.
Makes it go down.
Athletic move by the big man right there on the reverse. Using a little bit of English off the backboard. Look at the Fenerbah'ce bench going, man, how did that ball go in?
First 2 points of the ball game for Othello Hunter. Jeffrey Taylor chasing down Luigi Datome, gets called for the foul.
We kind of forgot about Datome. He's been sitting on that bench with those 3 fouls for so long. We kind of forgot about him. Obviously, someone didn't forget about him, so he put him in the fourth quarter. That's how much confidence he has in this Luigi Datome guy.
Nice reverse layup by Othello Hunter. Gets his first points in 10 minutes. He's had a few rebounds, but as we said about the lack of inside scoring by Madrid, that has to help. And one of your big men gets by Udoh. It's going to be Datome from deep for a 3-pointer. And the crowd is loving it in Istanbul as we have the biggest lead in a ball game, 68-52. And time's coming down. Udoh's trying to answer from deep. Misses everything. Not good news for Real Madrid.
But Pablo Lasso's looking at his team right now like, who is this team? I haven't seen this before. Throughout the year, they've had so much composure offensively. They played so well. And right now, they're trying to get back in the game on 1 possession.
Lucas tries to nail another one, but it goes long. And Madrid's going to have to find itself in what's left of this ball game. Carroll getting through the lane and putting it up right next to Udoh, but nice and quick.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, you're going to take the worst of 2 evils right there. You're going to say, okay, he's not going to shoot the 3. We'll leave him a 2 right there, but let's not give him a 3.
I'm going to need all they can get from J.C. Carroll is Real Madrid. Lucas trying to work with Udoh. Goes back to Datome. He'll try it again. This one off the mark and into the hands of Othello Hunter.
Fenerbahce has to be careful here. It's a 14-point lead. It's not out of the way yet for Real Madrid. Oh, look at the defense. Look at the defense by
Lucas stopping Carroll as he raises for a 3-pointer. Ball moves quickly to the other side. Datome bank shot misses.
That might be a little bit too quick offensively right there. Those 2 threes, Lucas and Datome. And now they're playing the fast break. If you're going to run the fast break, let's get a layup if you're Fenerbahce. Let's not try to get a jump shot off it. Run the clock a little bit.
Really keeps the dribble. He was looking for Carroll. And he finds Jeffrey Taylor in the corner for 3. Jeffrey Taylor knocks that down as well. He's at a 37%. He's hit his share of 3-pointers this season.
You can't give him an open 3. He'll hit it, no doubt about it. Fenerbahce has to be careful right now. They're getting a little lackadaisical offensively. Attack the basket.
6th assist for Yui. Lucas out to Kalinic. It'll be Datome from straight on. Misses that one. So Datome hits 1 3-pointer, misses the next 2. And the foul committed as Sergio Yui came across half court.
Yeah, you bring in your star right now. There's no doubt about it. You're getting Mr. Bogdanovic off that bench. And you need to bring him out. You need to bring someone that's going to hit that open shot. Now, Tommy has made that first one, but struggled at the next 2. Neither one of those other 2, they were good shots, but they weren't on target at all.
Foul committed by James Nunnally. Madrid retains possession.
Frank, I'm telling you, Madrid is hanging around with 6.5 minutes left in this game. They're not letting them go.
Carroll in and out that one. First miss from downtown for J.C. Carroll after he had hit his first 4 shots. Had to kind of double kick there, which you don't see him do too often, before taking the shot and just missed. It's Lucas. Ball blocked by Othello Hunter. Ahead to Yui.
Fenerbahce complaining that ball might hit the backboard.
Tompkins, he knocks down a 3-pointer as he is able to do as well. So as you said, Joe, Real Madrid dropping this difference below double digits for the first time in a while with a 0-8 run to make it 68-60 with a timeout on the floor in the 4th quarter of the semifinal. The second semifinal, tonight's Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final 4. That gives us a chance to look at our 7 days magic moment of the night. And that occurred pretty early in the game. In fact, as Fenerbahce got rolling when Nikola Kalinic put it up and Jan Vesely slammed it down. A great connection to get that team rolling into what have been steady leads in this ball game, and get the fans into it as well. We've seen it again and again with Jan Vesely, but to do it on semifinals night in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final 4 is worthy of the 7 days magic moment in this ball game. Here you see our top scorers: Sergio Yui with 24 points, J.C. Carroll, his teammate right behind him, with 16, and Ekpe Udoh leading Fenerbahce with 12, while Bogdanovic and Kalinic. Vesely has also 12 as well, along with Udoh, while Vesely and Bogdanovic and Kalinic have 10 each behind them. So balanced scoring, you would say, for Fenerbahce, while Carroll and Yui have 40 of the 60 points for Real Madrid.
Yeah, but all that's out the window right now, Frank. It's down to an 8-point lead with that 8-0 run. So things have to change it for Fenerbahce offensively. They may have to attack the basket a little bit, but don't settle for 3-pointers the whole time.
Bobby Dixon looking for Kalinic. Kalinic finds Udoh. Othello Hunter gets a hand in and commits a foul before. Let's see if it's before Udoh. Udoh will go to the free throw line, it looks like.
And you have to foul him there right now if you're Real Madrid. You cannot let him get that ball up and put it in and even get an and one. So make him go to the line and earn those 2. Stop the clock a little bit. See if you can get him to miss one. Vesely's coming off the bench. Nunnally's coming off the bench.
Udoh does a lot of things well. He's only a 62% free throw shooter this season, however. So we'll see how he handles what are his first free throws of the ball game.
Selko is deciding to go after the smaller lineup from Real Madrid by putting in a bigger lineup. That could hurt Madrid on the defensive side because they can attack the basket a little bit more, maybe get some rebounds. But on the offensive side from Madrid, they're looking to hit 3-pointers. They're looking to play that game to get back in it little by little. And that could hurt Fenerbahce. Depending on who's guarding who, they're going to have to play a lot of switches defensively to prevent 3-pointers, especially with J.C. Carroll and Trey Tompkins out there.
Ekpe Udoh perfect from the free throw line, gets the lead back to 10 and approaching a triple-double. He's got 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 14 points. And that would be truly history-making in the Final 4. Yui to Othello Hunter, gets up high, but gets fouled at the rim. And Ekpe Udoh owns up to it right away. Couldn't block him that time. Othello Hunter rising high. See right there, but Udoh wasn't far away from that one either.
No, not at all. But again, same thing applies on this side. You do not want to give Real Madrid any easy baskets. Othello Hunter is a 67% free throw shooter. In the 4th quarter, you put a little bit more pressure on him, but I think that's a great foul by Udoh. He went up and tried to make a clean block, but he got a little bit of the arm, and that's fine. That's no problem. You want to make him go to the line and shoot 2.
That's the second foul on Udoh, so he's pretty much in safe territory with under 6 minutes left in this ball game. Othello Hunter, meanwhile, drops the first of his 2 free throws. And the second as well, gets the difference back to 8, 70-62. Bobby Dixon with Carroll on him, gets it to Bogdanovic. Goes cross court to Kalinic, tipped out of bounds. Looks like it was Trey Tompkins who got the hand on the ball.
That's close. Kalinic makes a nice move there to get his hand out of the way. He knew he wasn't going to be able to control that tip, so he had to get his hand out of the way. Got it in the way just in time. Great call by the ref.
With 8 on the shot clock, Udoh has the ball, turns and pops. A little bit off the mark by Ekpe Udoh. Rebound ripped by Tompkins. And Yui in transition. Lobs it up, but a little too out of the reach of Hunter. But certainly not shy of risking an alley-oop in this situation.
Bad timing right there, but the play was great. The play was what they needed. They needed that play.
Bogdanovic running into Othello Hunter, who hits the floor, and Bogdanovic is called for an offensive foul.
That's what good players do right there, Frank. He made a little, felt like he made a little mistake on that play, and then it was timing right on the alley-oop dunk. Comes down on the other side and catches Bogdanovic coming off the pick. Jumps out in front of him, gets that offensive foul, gets another possession for his team.
Madrid showed a little daring on the last play. Let's see how they try to keep this little run going and get maybe as close as they've been in a while with another basket. Tompkins fakes, goes to Taylor, who's hit 1 3-pointer. That one doesn't go.
But it's pretty obvious what Madrid wants. They have everybody in a handball situation almost. Everybody's outside that 3-point line, trying to penetrate and get that open 3.
Bobby Dixon running one-hander off the mark. Udoh fighting for the rebound. It comes out to Kalinic. Big offensive rebound for Fenerbahce. Bogdanovic gets it to Udoh in the middle. He's hit a couple shots there. That's a shot he likes.
That's his house, man. Offensively, defensively, that lane is his house. He loves it. He's so comfortable in there. He's got a nice big sofa with a big screen TV.
Miss, and the follow-up by Othello Hunter, skying in, taking advantage of the shot blockers approaching J.C. Carroll to get the rebounding space and tip it in. Othello Hunter having a little bit of an impact for Madrid here in the 4th quarter.
That happens often when the shot blocker goes. His man tends to get in there and get the rebound.
Bogdanovic again goes cross court. Tommy somehow saves it and gets to the rim to put it down, get fouled, and go to the free throw line. One hustle, he fell out of bounds and came right back in to complete that play.
I can't tell you how big of a play this is in such an important moment of the game. Now Tommy makes the save. First there's the great play by Hunter getting to the basket. Now Tommy makes the save and makes the hard cut after the pass. Great play by Luigi.
People, coaches talk about him being an elegant player, and you saw it in that play. And a hustle player as well, but that took a little extra know-how to save the ball out of bounds and be scoring it at the basket a second or 2 later.
Yeah, he took advantage of the defender. The defender jumped with him. He was able to make that play and then make the hard cut to the basket.
That counts also as the 8th assist for Ekpe Udoh, who is now 2 assists away from a triple-double.
This guy's amazing.
And to say it's a triple-double in the Final 4 says enough, but there's only been 2 triple-doubles in the 40-minute EuroLeague games in the last 15, 16 years, both by the same man who's in the building tonight, Nikola Vujicic, one of the legends in attendance. Carroll stops and pops for 3. That one's off the mark. They're really making them work for it now.
It's a huge possession right here, I think, for Fenerbahce. It's a huge possession to get what they want. They got to get the shot that they want. Either get to the line or get to the basket. Don't force up a 3 too quickly.
Ball
there it is.
Inside. There's Udoh for the slam.
There it is.
The big men working together. And Ekpe Udoh is putting on a performance to be remembered here tonight. Started slow, started on the defensive end, but he is doing everything on the floor and is close to a triple-double with 2 minutes, 57 seconds left in the semifinal, and his team now up 13 and looking like they are going to go to the final.
The play that we just saw, Frank, resembles the whole night for Fenerbah'ce. Unselfishness. Bogdanovic coming off the pick, sees a double team, kicks it up to Vesely down low. Vesely with the bounce pass to Ekpe Udoh, who goes up and just puts it down. There's nothing anybody can do on that play. It's unselfishness. It's the way they played from the first minute of this game, and they haven't gone away from it not one time. Amazing to watch. This is a great team. Right now, they have to protect this 13-point lead with 2:50 left. You know Madrid's going to go after them.
I'll tell you how unselfish this team is. Real Madrid led the league in assists with 20. They have 12 right now. And a center and a forward, Ekpe Udoh with 8 assists, and Nikola Kalinic with 6, are out assisting Real Madrid in this ball game. And that says a lot about the game plan.
Now, how many times do I have to tell you how much I love this Kalinic guy? I've been saying it for years. He's just amazing to watch. His intensity. He makes everybody else around him play better without being a superstar. You usually hear that about superstars. You don't hear about that about role players or garbage players or whatever you want to call Kalinic. But he is a guy that makes everybody else great around them.
Both of them have been 35 minutes on the floor, Kalinic and Udoh. And you can see why. Yui out top, trying to spark a Madrid rally.
Look how far they are away from the basket.
Taylor challenges Udoh, but doesn't even get the shot to the rim. The big man every step of the way with him.
Again, if you're Fenerbahce, you want to control the rhythm here. You want to control the offensive play. Get yourself a good shot in the paint. Don't worry about shooting three-pointers unless you're wide open.
Bogdanovic against Taylor all the way. Taylor seems to come up with the ball, goes out of bounds on Vesely.
Too much dribbling right there by Bogdan. He's got to get rid of that ball. Come back and get it with about 12 seconds left in the shot clock. Then go to the basket. In that case, you move the defense a little bit. They're not sitting there watching you. They take away a lot of the help defense.
Madrid, Yui left open, misses one of his rainbow jumpers, and you see him slapping sides in disappointment.
Well, I tell you, it's a shame because this is probably the worst game that I've seen Real Madrid play this entire season. And it just came at the most difficult time in the semifinals of the Final Four.
Well, Bogdanovic gets it to Vesely, who takes an extra step and gets called for traveling.
He took that extra step because, you know what, he was being a huge teammate right there. He wanted to give Udoh another dunk. That's what he wanted to do. That's the reason why he took that extra step. You got to love that about Jan Vesely.
13-point difference, minute 40 to play. And Madrid's going to throw up some shots here to see if a miracle can happen. But there's a chanting crowd of thousands. J.C. Carroll.
That kid's amazing, I'm telling you.
Gets an inch of daylight and knocks down his 5th three-pointer for 19 points. And Taylor gets called for fouling Bogdanovic, which you think has to be under orders now. They have to get to the free throw. If anything can happen here, it's got to be Fenerbahce missing free throws, but that doesn't seem very likely either with the kind of free throw shooters they have on that team.
You might want to try to get a stop here instead of getting to the line right away. Right now you're in position to put him on the line, but you might want to try to get a stop here, see if you can get another three-pointer, and then start worrying about that.
Almost stolen.
That was
by
a stop.
Randolph, and indeed forces the turnover.
That was a stop they needed.
Apparently, Bogdanovic's foot hit the line when he recovered the ball. He recovered the ball, but got called for the turnover anyway. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's a half-court violation as his foot went over half-court.
These referees are quick, man. They get to this. They get to the spot, and they get to make the call. Great angle there.
Minute and 5 seconds left. Madrid down 10. Calls for an incredible shot by Sergio Yuri and gets fouled. Hits the floor, clutching his ankle.
That's an and one situation right there. He's going to the line to get his team within 7.
Talk about guts and going for anything they can. Sergio Llull goes inside, hits an incredible basket, gets fouled, and will go to the free throw line. And he's now up to 26 points in this ball game.
But a relatively quiet second half, though. Fenerbahce did a great job of adjusting in the second half in the locker room to cut down some of the baskets by Sergio Llull, some of the easy shots he was getting. They gave up a few to J.C. Carroll, but they kept Sergio Llull in check most of the second half. Right here's a big possession for Fenerbahce. They just want to waste this clock as much as they can before they get fouled and go to the foul line. Madrid's going to decide to play defense here. There's the foul right there.
There's the foul. Under a minute left. Four bodies bumping into each other near half court.
This is where emotion set in right now. Madrid is down 7 here with 48 seconds left. They're going to get a little bit physical. Fenerbahce feels as though they have the game intact right now, so they're going to take every foul, every little ticky-tack thing a little bit personal.
The foul called on Taylor will put Bogdan Bogdanovic on the free throw line. Bogdanovic has been an 85% free throw shooter this season. He steps away from the free throw line for a second. Get a towel, dry off. He'll be shooting his first free throw of the game. Wants to make sure his hands are dry enough.
You got to tell him. You got to tell Bogdan this isn't soccer. The clock's not running. Look like the football player out there.
To waste some time, no? Big free throws with 48 seconds left. First one goes down. For first team all EuroLeague selection, Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Well, we see his maturity in the last 2 years from that Final Four in Madrid a couple of years ago to now. He is such a different player. He's so much more, he has so much more composure. He's so much more mature right now. Difficult situation for guys like Felipe Reyes.
He has Fenerbahce up 9 as Llull does another kamikaze run to the rim. Gets knocked down to the same spot he did before. This time the shot didn't go in, however. And he will go to the free throw line for 2 free throws with his team down 9 and 43 seconds left. But does anybody go end to end as fast as Sergio Llull does?
No. Like I said, he's so fast. But as I was saying before, Frank, you got guys on Real Madrid's team like Felipe Reyes. You know, he's coming to the end of his career. He's getting up there in years. Andres Nocioni decided that this is going to be his final go. He's going to retire at the end of this season. It's a disappointing loss for this team. There's no doubt about it, because some of these guys will never see this moment again. You don't know about Felipe. We don't know if he's coming back, if he's not coming back, whatever he's going to be doing. But it's still a hard loss for everybody. But the older you get, the harder these losses are, because you never know when you're going to be back here again, ever see this again. We know Andres Nocioni, at least, is going to call it the end of his career at the end of the season. So
indeed, Andres Nocioni didn't get to step on the floor tonight. 2 years ago, he was the MVP of the Final Four. But at 37 years old, he's already announced that he is retiring after a long and very exciting career as an Olympic champion as well. Andres Nocioni, this will be his last EuroLeague game.
One of the things he said when he retired was he wanted to go out with this title. So you knew it was important to him, whether he's on the floor or on the bench or not even with the team. He's always there in spirit. He's such a great leader. And man, there is no man more deserving of an MVP award than he was 2 years ago in Madrid.
Fourth foul on Anthony Randolph, 79-71.
Into the game.
And that will send Bogdanovic back to the free throw line. 40 seconds left still. Stranger things have happened, but not if Bogdan Bogdanovic can hit his free throws. Now he's 3 for 3 during this final minute, with one more in his possession to return the lead to 10 points if he can make it 4 for 4. And he does just that, Bogdan Bogdanovic.
You know, what you have to wonder about, Frank, also is looking at the numbers for Fenerbahce. We talk about depth, we talk about the bench, and Udoh is in the game for almost 38 minutes today. Bogdanovic, 30 minutes. Kalinic, 38 minutes also. There's a lot of people have been on this floor for a lot of time. They need to get their medical staffs all set up here. Need to get these people hydrated, get them massage, do whatever they need to do. Maybe some of one of those Turkish bath things that I love so much, that Hammam thing. That's so good, but they need to relax them and have them ready for Sunday against Olympiacos, because it's going to be a battle.
Madrid with 32 seconds left, and Doncic back in the game. Will try to do something, misses his layup, and Randolph puts it back down. 8-point difference.
Substitution into the game once again, number 70, Regina Doble and Bobby Dixon.
Bobby Dixon comes back in the game. Along with Kalinic for Fenerbahce, as they just make sure with 26.9 seconds left that nothing strange happens. They can expect to be fouled. And the good free throw shooters come in. The steal is made by Real Madrid. And the dribble of Draper off the foot of Bogdanovic gives Madrid the ball back with 19.7 seconds left and down 8 points.
And the strategies and the changes and the rotations don't stop, even with 19 seconds left. Yeah, this game is full of bumps and bruises, and right now, tonight, Luka Doncic, as a young player, we know how great he is and how great he's going to be. He's taking a little bit of bruises tonight. He hasn't hit a shot yet, scored no points. He's had a tough game, but it's a learning process. Ask Bogdan Bogdanovic. If you want to talk to anybody, Luka Doncic, go and ask Bogdan, because he has come 2 years later to be a better player, more mature.
6 points down with 17.8 seconds left after the basket by Carroll. And Madrid immediately fouls Bobby Dixon. And if I'm not mistaken, that is Randolph's 5th foul, so he won't be back in the game. But give this guy some credit. He must have been hurting very bad even when he came back in the second half, because he was almost unable to move himself off the floor when he took a shot to the rib cage late in the second quarter. I personally didn't think we would see Anthony Randolph again tonight, and there he was out there to start the second half.
As a player, you do everything you can to get to this point. You don't want it to end with an injury, so he came out. Very important free throws here by Bob Dixon. It's still a 2-possession game. Big free throw right there. Make the second one. Get your team up to 8 points.
That right there makes it a 3-possession game. Madrid would have to hit 2 3-pointers plus another shot. The miss there. Who gets the rebound? And Nikola Kalinic.
Oh, man.
6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals in this ball game for Nikola Kalinic, as well as 10 points.
And all the things that he did, Frank, that are not on the stat board. Those are the things that he does, the diving for the balls, the loose balls, the defense, the help, the getting in passing lanes. It's just, it's everything that he does. It's the intangibles.
Joe, let's talk about how this Fenerbahce team is not only taking on the team with the best record in the EuroLeague and really controlled this ball game, but they've carried over their momentum from the playoffs when they got healthy and played so well in the playoffs. The question was, after a lap before the Final Four, whether they can keep that momentum, and they have taken it here as Udoh gets his 12th rebound, it should be, and the clock winds down and runs out on the hopes of Real Madrid, but it lifts a lot of fans from their seats, as they have been most of this ball game, because Fenerbahce Istanbul is returning to the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Championship game on Sunday, and they have done so by beating Real Madrid 84-75, and that means that it will be Fenerbahce Istanbul versus Olympiacos Piraeus for the EuroLeague title on Sunday right here at the Sinan Erdem Dome in Istanbul, Turkey.
Turkish Airlines, 7 days. Nisine.com, Denizbank, Siesta, Tadim, Lenovo, Burger King, and SEG, official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.